Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, please hit the subscribe button and don't forget to like this video. Today I'm just going to be practicing some shapes on my nail trainer hand and just kind of explaining how I get my shapes when I'm gonna do nail tips and then put some acrylic on top. So right now I've already trimmed down the fake tips on the mannequin hand. I'm gonna go ahead and just file and shape these, get some fake tips glued on, and we will be right back.
Found the one, you should never give her up. I think it's the way life changes when in love, yeah. I surround my soul with the positivity. That's why I don't worry about the things that I don't see, yeah. These days I don't worry about much. I think we should.
All right, we're back. So we've got all 4 fingers with some tips on. So now we are gonna start. I think I'm gonna do this one. Let's do this a ballerina. So I'm just gonna take some little scissors, and I need to get new scissors. These ones aren't the best, but I'm just gonna cut off the sides a little bit. And then let's do stiletto. So I'm gonna cut off a little bit more of the sides now. And this is just going to save me a lot of filing time so that I don't have to file all of that extra nail down that I don't need. We'll do coffin. So just a little bit on the coffin. And then we'll do that one square. Now I'm going to take a McCart zebra file, and this is the 101/80 grit. I'm going to use the 100 grit for the majority of my filing and shaping because it's a lot rougher and it's going to be easier and make it go faster. Excuse me. So for the ballerina, I'm going to lay my file down, and I always start kind of at the underneath, not right up at the sides. But I eventually work my way up there. So we're gonna have my thumb here supporting this side while I shape this side. And then when I switch over to the other side, you'll see that my fingers are gonna wrap around and support over here while I file here. And I'm making sure that I'm filing right from this top where the tip is, connected to the natural nail all the way down here, and I'm going in a straight line from that point. And the way that I make sure that I'm always doing it in a straight line is wherever I lay my file, the back of my file right now is touching my finger right here. So when I'm filing and I move it up and then it comes back down, I make sure that my file's landing in that same spot every time. And when you're doing this, you want to just do a little at a time. I don't want to spend, 2 minutes on this one side before I switch back over, because you run the risk of over filing this side and not being able to even it out. So I do pretty much the same amount of work on each side, and I keep switching back and forth. Now for me, that's a good ballerina shape, but I know some people and some clients like it a lot thinner. So you're gonna do the same process. You're just gonna keep going and focusing right in here to thin that out. The tip doesn't need to be thinned anymore, but the sides can be. So when I'm doing that, I'm putting more pressure when I'm filing, pretty much from here up. I'm just lightly going back and forth, checking every time to make sure that it looks even everywhere. What did we say? Stiletto for this one. So that's going to be the same process, but you're going to keep going until this is at a point. When you're filing, you want to make sure that you're constantly watching how much your file is taking off. If you're not paying attention, you're going to overfile and have to take the tip off and start all over again. It's very hard to fix it once you've gone too far. Now when I do my stilettos, once I get to this point and I like the way and the width of the sides, all I really need to do is focus on the tip. So I'm still going to go in a straight line, but if you see my file's not going to be here now, it's going to be off at an angle a little bit, so that I can start bringing that tip to a point. But I'm always making sure that I'm watching how much I'm doing, switching back and forth, and making sure that it's all even and balanced. And I just kind of keep working my way down until I get where I want to be. And again, for me, that is a stiletto. That's how I shape mine. But there are people that like them a lot pointier than that. Same thing, you're just gonna keep going until you get down to that point that you like. But for me, I'm gonna stop right here. Okay, so this one is going to be the Coffin, and Coffin is very similar to the ballerina. For me, when I do my coffin shapes, I do more of a tapered square. I don't want it to look the exact same as that, because then, you know, they're the exact same, there's no difference. So I don't do quite as much as some people might, but you can still see the difference in the two. See the difference there? And then this is going to be a square. So this one is probably my favorite and the easiest one for me to do. So same thing, like I was saying earlier, I'm going to make sure that my file is coming right in a straight line from the natural nail all the way down to the tip. And you can see the tip has a little bit of a curve right there, so I'm gonna get that out. So I'm gonna take it straight down. And again, I'm making sure that that file is hitting the same spot on my finger every time when I go back and forth, so that I know I'm going in a straight line. And when working with the tip and trying to get a really straight line, you just want to make sure you're holding the finger straight and your file straight, and make sure that you're supporting this finger and this tip. You don't want the the tip to be wiggling from side to side while you're filing, because that's going to mess up your shape and it's going to be off balance. So then the only other thing that I would do before acrylic application is I would blend out the tip where the fake tip meets the natural nail. And you can do this with an electric file if you wanted to, but just because I have my hand file, I'll just do it right now. And this is just smoothing out that ridge where the two meet. So when you're applying your acrylic, you're gonna have a smoother application. You're not gonna have that little ridge. And also it makes it so that you can't see that smile line, that demarcation through your acrylic. And when I'm doing this part, I'm only touching the fake tip. I'm not touching the client's natural nail. You don't want to damage their nail. You don't want to cause too much friction and have, like, I guess, a heat spike from all of the friction. So that's why you also see me constantly moving from side to side. And then just run your finger down. See if it feels nice and smooth. So for these forms, they're a little bit bigger than what the nail bed calls for. And the only reason I do that is if you make them too small, they're not going to stick on this mannequin hand very well. So that's what this little overhang is. And I don't really care that it's not glued down very well, because I was just going to come back in and file it off anyways. See right there, that tiny little piece that's white, it's because it's not glued down, but it overhangs the nail, so I didn't want it glued, because I'm just going to take it right off anyways. See, now it's gone. And then the only other thing that I would do, oh, I hit my camera, sorry. The only other thing I would do before acrylic application is just take a black buffer and just lightly run it under the sides of the tips, because when you're filing, you sometimes get some of the filings stuck under there that they don't all come out. So I just take a black buffer, run it under there, and get all of that out. Oh, sorry, I don't think I was in frame for that. But do you see that right there? So that's just stuff that I filed that is still stuck on there. So I just want to take my black buffer and lightly go over that so that it comes off. There we go. Same thing right there. Now I'm just going to take the soft side of my file and just run that down there because that piece wasn't coming off with the black buffer. And this right here, that's just part of the mannequin hand. So that's not the nail, but the mannequin hand's getting a little beat up. And that is what they look like, and that's how you do some pretty easy shaping and filing.